Zachary Show here, and welcome back to my WWE 2K24 showcase of the Immortals playthrough. In the last episode, we saw Seth Rollins invade the main event of WrestleMania 31, defeating Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship for the first time in his career, and also the first Money in the Bank cash-in at a WrestleMania. And now we are going to fast forward 4 years later. I'll follow up on the people in that last match if and when they appear later. But we're going to go all the way to WrestleMania 35 in 2019. Becky Lynch for Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. The winner takes all, as the women take center stage with their first ever WrestleMania main event. Ronda Rousey's Raw Women's title and Charlotte Flair's SmackDown Women's title will both belong to whoever can get that first pinfall or submission. Becky Lynch has battled for months to get into this match and will not let anything turn her back. You will notice this is the first time the women are making an appearance in this showcase mode, and I will talk about any gaps that Corey doesn't fill us in on when he hypes up this match. So I'll let him start it off, and I'll fill in the gaps.
History made with Seth Rollins leaving the main event of WrestleMania, a match in which he wasn't even scheduled to participate as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. For my money, it's the greatest cash-in ever and only proves that Seth Rollins has always been the visionary. WrestleMania has always been the place where the impossible's made possible, where dreams become a reality. And that was never more apparent than at WrestleMania 35 in New Jersey, when for the first time in its history, WrestleMania was main evented by the women of WWE. Ronda Rousey arrived in WWE like a tornado, first impressing in her debut at WrestleMania 34 before steamrolling her way to the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam 2018. The former MMA champion looked unstoppable, using her wide array of throws and arm bars to hold everyone at bay. As Survivor Series approached, Becky Lynch, now SmackDown Women's Champion, would be set up to compete against Rousey. Unfortunately for Becky, she'd be replaced by Charlotte Flair after Becky was taken out of action following an inter-brand brawl on Raw. At Survivor Series, Charlotte would show a vicious side in a disqualification loss to Rousey. Becky, however, wanted this fight more than anything. At the 2019 Royal Rumble, Becky Lynch would enter the match in someone else's place, ultimately winning it all by eliminating, you guessed it, Charlotte Flair. But before everything could be finalized, more bad news for Becky, as an injury to her knee led to her not being cleared to compete at WrestleMania, and WWE would replace her with Charlotte Flair. Becky would not sit by and just let that happen, however, and ultimately got her clearance. With that, she was added back to the match, and we now had a triple threat set up for the Raw Women's Championship. The surprises were not done, though. Shortly before WrestleMania, Charlotte would shock the world of sports entertainment by defeating Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And now the match would be winner takes all, meaning the winner would be both Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. Three of the most talented women on the roster look to dazzle the world in the first ever women's main event at WrestleMania. Can you go out there and be the last kicker we all know Becky to be? Or will Charlotte and Ronda prove to be too much for you to overcome? Time to show everyone who really is the man. Ronda Rousey was the obvious target for Becky and Charlotte, but Ronda immediately went on the offensive, bullying Becky back in the corner. And then turning her attention to Charlotte Flair. Ronda wanted to prove immediately that despite the stature of her opponents, that it was she who was the dominant WWE superstar. Outside the ring, Ronda would not let up, connecting with a Piper's Pit not only to Becky that threw her into the barricade, but also to Charlotte Flair, planting her onto the floor. A second attempt at Piper's Pit on Becky proved to be Rousey's biggest mistake, with Becky shaking free and throwing Ronda into the ring post. Trying to keep her momentum, Ronda ran right into a boot from Becky, staggering her long enough to allow Charlotte Flair to perform a suplex of her own to send Ronda into the barricade herself. Rousey had overwhelmed Charlotte and Becky with her blitzing offense, but Becky was able to compose herself quickly enough to avoid another Piper's Pit, leaving Ronda on the defensive early in the bout.
Okay, so I'll talk about a few things. So the someone that Becky replaced in the Rumble was Lana. They didn't mention her because she is currently with AEW, although you never see her. Also, it's weird because when Charlotte was added to the match, right, Mr. McMahon did that, and like they blurred him. And okay, I don't have a problem necessarily with you blurring Vince, but it's weird because they didn't blur him during the Rock Austin WrestleMania 17 match earlier in the showcase. So it's just weird how selective it is with the blurring. Now, this Becky's rise to the main event was awesome to see because it happened all by accident. And it's just because Nia Jax broke her nose during a brawl leading up to Survivor Series, and that just turned Becky into this main eventer. It was crazy. And so all I'll mention is why the first time you're seeing women is here is there were women's matches earlier. You know, even WrestleMania 2000 had a women's match. You know, it's not like they didn't have them, but the women were just not given the same treatment wrestling wise, and that all changed post WrestleMania 30, I want to say. You know, 31 there was a featured women's match or two, and 32 is where things just went crazy because between 31 and 32 Charlotte came up to the main roster, Sasha Banks came with her, and so did Becky Lynch. And that just changed the game. Those three, in fact, had an amazing match at WrestleMania 32. And then, you know, after that, just the floodgates opened. When we talk about Bayley, Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss. I know I'm going to miss some people here. Naomi, she's been around, though. But Naomi, all these women just started popping up out of NXT and changed everything. And then I believe before WrestleMania 33 or 34 was when the Women's Royal Rumble was introduced. I should know this because I was at the first one. I think it was 33. No. Maybe. It was the same one that Nakamura won the Rumble also. It was Asuka won and faced Charlotte and lost. But then the tides just turned and women are getting Royal Rumble matches too, and Money in the Bank matches, Elimination Chambers, you know, King and Queen of the Ring, which at the time of recording this is tomorrow morning for me. By the time you see this, it'll be already over. But then let's also talk about Ronda Rousey a little bit. So the run she had from WrestleMania 34 when she made her official debut through 35, that first run before she had her baby, was amazing. Ronda she took to it so well, like no one before. I would say that Logan Paul's first year eclipsed that. But if you ask Ronda, he had more time to prepare and all that stuff. You know, it's stuff she's been saying in her book. But Ronda's first year was amazing, and her second run wasn't as good, and I'm not sure if that's her fault or creative or both. It just wasn't the same. She didn't have the same intensity and fire that she had this first time. That combo was supposed to work, but okay. This will work. But we'll talk a little bit about WrestleMania 35 while we're here. So I should remember a lot from this one. We'll get into it. Hang on.
Now, as we all know, a triple threat match is every superstar for themselves. But despite not being friendly with each other, Charlotte and Becky realized that it might be best for them to focus their efforts on Ronda. Looking for a double powerbomb, Ronda would manage to reverse, putting Charlotte in an armbar. But this freed Becky and allowed her to drill Ronda with a low drop kick. With Ronda out of the way, now the Queen and the Man had the ring all to themselves.
So, the other things that WrestleMania 35 is known for is Seth Rollins also won the Royal Rumble going into this and defeated Brock Lesnar in the opening match. The Batista wrestled his last match to date against Triple H at this WrestleMania. This is the one that had the famous "Give Me What I Want" promo that Batista, after he attacked Ric Flair. I believe it was also Triple H's last match to date. I may be wrong, but I think it was. And then also, 5 years after Daniel Bryan had his big storybook WrestleMania win at WrestleMania 30, the tables were turned as Kofi Mania happened, and Kofi Kingston defeated Daniel Bryan at this WrestleMania to win the WWE title. And Daniel Bryan was going in as the guy trying to ruin the happy story. I need to get Charlotte in here, not Ronda. Trying to think of what else happened at this one. I'm trying to think if The Undertaker had a match. I don't know. I think his match against Cena, one where he squashed Cena, was the year before this. I'm going to look that up after recording because I'm really curious. I don't think Undertaker did have a match here. And I already covered Lesnar and Rollins. I'm trying to think of them. And I think I might be wrong. Roman Reigns, did he miss this one? He might have, or he had a match like against Corbin or Drew McIntyre. I don't know if I can remember that.
With Ronda still down and out, Charlotte looked to take it up a notch. Her standard knee drop was made more devastating by the removal of her knee pad, and now Becky Lynch was in a bad situation. Charlotte did not let up, repeatedly slamming Becky's face into the mat. Charlotte was making the most of Ronda Rousey being down, willing to put Becky through the mat if it meant she'd leave WrestleMania as the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion.
Run, Becky. Ronda's getting a table. Good move by Charlotte there. I need to get near the head. That was the side, because... Okay, there we go. Is that a Fujiwara armbar? It is, it's just done from a different angle, I guess.
When Charlotte tried to interrupt a reverse DDT to Ronda, Becky just added her to the mix, hitting a standard and reverse DDT combo to both. While her attempts at getting the pin failed both times, Becky was now in firm control and didn't show any signs of letting up.
Yeah, I need to get my attention on Charlotte. Get Ronda out of here. I need to get her on the turnbuckle. Oh, I thought she was in the corner. And Ronda's getting up, which could be problematic. Avalanche exploder, here we go. Judo takedown by Ronda. Another one.
Eventually, Rousey found her momentum again and managed the jaw-dropping feat of placing both Becky and Charlotte into arm bars. Realizing that they were better together, Charlotte and Becky would turn the tide on Ronda. Muscling her up and hitting her with a series of double-team power bombs. Ronda did her best to fight free, but was overwhelmed by powerbomb after powerbomb. The two worked well together, but that wasn't the plan. The second she no longer needed help, Charlotte sent Becky to the floor. Charlotte knew exactly what needed to be done in that ring, looking to get the pin when she saw Ronda down. The Queen was in top shape, and despite not getting the pin, she was rolling.
Already did red damage to a limb, so that's covered. Now I have to hit a manhandle slam to Charlotte. So we'll get her. She's getting in for me. Boom. And hit to disarm her on Ronda. Oh, crap. Use your resiliency, Charlotte. Good. Disarm her right now. I'm gonna let it go though. Oh, guillotine. Charlotte comes in, makes a save. Outside the ring is a bad place to be. I also don't know if Ronda even has resiliency. Yeah, not letting this fly. Break it up.
Finally, Ronda broke free, and I remember thinking this was it once she hit Becky with that huge running knee. It was academic at that point. She rolled Becky to set her up for Piper's Pit, struggling through the exhaustion and pain to lift her up. And then Becky did the unthinkable. Reversing into a crucifix pin, she was able to surprise the former MMA champion with a pinfall to win the match. Ronda was not happy, feeling she'd gotten her shoulder up, but the decision stood, and Becky was named the winner.
Her shoulder was up after one.
All three women left it all in the ring. While Charlotte and Ronda were not thrilled in failing to win, neither had any reason to hang their head in shame. Standing in the ring, holding both titles high, Becky Lynch's arduous road to WrestleMania had finally reached its epic conclusion. Becky etches her name into the history books, victorious in the first ever WrestleMania women's main event, leaving as both Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion after pinning Ronda Rousey in the center of the ring. A stellar performance by everyone involved, but it's Becky who had just that little bit extra to get her hand raised. It was another landmark performance by the man.
Historic moment, and wouldn't be the only time that women would main event at WrestleMania. And we might get to those, hopefully, I don't know, because some of those people don't work there anymore. And now we're only going to go ahead 1 year to The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus John Cena at WrestleMania 36. And this would be the first and only WrestleMania in the pandemic era. So, we're going to talk about that and plenty of other things. Talk about what Bray Wyatt's been up to up until this point, and probably Cena. So we'll do that in the next video. Make sure you like and you leave a comment. You subscribe to the channel, and if you want to catch any of the old episodes, you can see them in a box over there at the end of the video. The Zachary Show. See you next time.